What's going on, everybody? This is an episode from the No Gimmicks Needed Wrestling podcast. Do you like podcasts and you want to see the full podcast? Make sure you check out the No Gimmicks Needed Wrestling podcast on all your podcast platforms, such as Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Stitcher, Spotify, iHeartRadio, among many others. But you're listening to the episode right here on YouTube, so make sure you hit that like button and below, and make sure you hit the subscribe button to NC Studios and NC Level Up for all your gaming needs. This is the Nerd Coalition. Enjoy the show. We're going to start off the show with this right here, because obviously on Monday Night Raw, we seen that Sasha Banks and Naomi walked out of Monday Night Raw. Conflicting reports, we really didn't know what was going on at the time, other than there were some creative issues, and they left the belts on John Laurinaitis' desk, people power, and then they walked out. And then, of course, everybody came up because everybody, like an asshole, had an opinion, and they wanted to put their opinions out there. First, we did the podcast late, and it was like, wow, what a way to to start this thing off. So that's what we've been, we talked about our initial feelings of when it happened. We knew that there were more details will have to come out later this week, but we put me and Prime and Lady Sketch put up our initial thoughts about that. And Q-Flow wasn't on there for that one, but he on for this one. And now there are more details that have come out Tuesday, Wednesday, literally every wrestling channel I'm subscribed to, every wrestling podcast has covered this and had a new detail. It wasn't like they were just trying to pull from some existing stuff just to try to make a story out of it. There was literally new shit coming out every day of this story. So it's like, so now it's stuff that's loaded that we still gotta talk about and even address. So first off, before we even get to Smackdown and Michael Cole's comments and stuff like that, Q-Flow wasn't here for the initial podcast last week. So Q, I want to just get your initial thoughts of Sasha and Naomi walking out before we get to the new details that have came up. And look, I want to tell y'all all right now, I want to make this a conversation. I want to make this like a Talk is Jericho kind of podcast. In other words, y'all don't have to wait till I'm done if y'all want to make a point. If Prime got questions, ask him, stuff like that. I want it to be like that. So, I want us to all be conscious, because we all got points. We all got stuff like that. I got shit to say. Q got shit to say. I know Ladies got shit to say. So I just want to get to that. But Q, we going to start with your initial thoughts of what's been going
on. I just want to say, if you thought Q was going to come up here and not defend the Queens, you smoking crack. I'm here for it. I think more people should do it. I'm gonna get into my full Frank Castle mode after we start getting into the developments. Just because I don't want to spoil the continuity of the conversation.
Yeah.
But we gonna talk. But I'm proud that they stood up for what they, for what they believed in. Because what I was hearing, because I listened to y'all talk about it, and if what you were talking about, if that's 1,000% true, then what? I would have walked out too, because that's stupid. Why would you have me pin my own teammate? Fucking idiots! Like, are you serious? So yeah, let's get to it though.
Yeah.
Obviously I'm not on the corporation side.
Yeah, and you know what? And first of all, I'm not liking the whole, cause see, right now it's like WWE is kind of make you pick sides, and like, right to me, right is right and wrong is wrong. Okay, and I'm just like, and it's always amazing to me. I'm just like, okay, so we got these black women out here as champions and stuff like that, and then all the stuff that creative has gone right, and all of a sudden they're not professional, all of a sudden they're not this, which we lost count how many times WWE is not professional. We lost count how many times that my girl Mickie James got her shit in a trash bag. I'm just saying, we not going. It's hard to not talk about how not professional they are. But first of all, it's just like y'all this just didn't happen. It ain't like, oh my God, we divas and we the best shit out there, and all of a sudden we out here and you want us to do that? No, we're not gonna like this, and we're gonna just give up the stuff. This has been boiling. Okay, to the point where, first of all, Naomi been there for over 10 years. All right, and all of a sudden, the shit that Naomi has been given, she's a 2-time champion, but look at the shit she's been dealt with while champion and up until then. And every time there has been something with Naomi, whether she got the loudest reaction in the Royal Rumble, whether they was trending Naomi deserves better, every time something like that happened, they never capitalized on it. The glow belts, they never capitalized on any of this shit. Right? And then you got Sasha Banks out there who's just like, look, I'm the person who cares about the craft. I'm the person who cares about the wrestling. I'm the person that comes out here, and if you're going to give me a belt, I want to make it legit. We don't have a lot of people like that in wrestling anymore. And you can't fault them for that because some of your favorite wrestlers were the same way. And they go out there and they want to go out there and make sure that if you're going to give me something, you're going to give me chicken shit, I'm going to try to turn to chicken salad. And you guys sit there and think, these women had top programs leading into WrestleMania that both of them were stripped for. They ain't say nothing. Sasha was programmed to go up against Charlotte because that is what they actually built to on SmackDown when Sasha came back. Am I lying, Brian?
No, you're right. Until until somebody signed the contract.
It's exactly. Because they didn't know when Ron come back, so it was like Sasha versus Charlotte. Because they actually gave that a break. Because Sasha versus Charlotte 2016 was a lot. Because they was like the whole feud of the year almost, and they took about a good 7-year break from that. But now a Sasha versus Charlotte again, I'm like, okay, I could do that again. But no, they gave it to Ronda when Ronda came back. Do y'all remember that Naomi was supposed to have a blow off with Sonya Deville? What happened? They never even finished the story. They just said, you know what, we need something to do for these women's tag team championships. How about you and Sasha go out there? They didn't even give them a story to say like, hey, let's build up because they the only ones that got history. The fans were like, yo, Team Bad back together. They bounce was like, oh, that's right, they wasn't Team Bad. And next thing you know, they get the tag team titles. And instead of just being two random women with holding the belts like Rhea and Nikki Ash, like Shayna Baszler and Nia Jax, and all the other bullshit, they said, let's turn ourselves into a team. The one thing Prime always says that he liked about team is when they start matching, we're in the same clothes, Sasha come out with the ballies, and then all of a sudden they took pride in the stuff. Because if y'all going to make sure that y'all want to go all over SmackDown and tell everybody that, hey, these are the first black women's tag team champions, did they not push that down the throat?
Yeah, they did.
Michael Cole said it. Michael Cole said it again.
Michael Cole said it twice.
Exactly. They want to start putting memes with Michael Cole with a kufi on and shit. And then Pat McAfee be like, yo, say it loud enough for the people in the back. They want to make sure y'all know that, right? Okay, so let's start acting like it. And what they do all over, like I said, if y'all follow Sasha Banks and Naomi's social media, that's all they've been doing. Everywhere they gone, everywhere they have toured to, people have been liking them. They've been taking pictures with all the fans and stuff like that. And they have
titles right with them.
The titles is right with. They actually showing off like, yo, if we're gonna be the first black tag team champions, and you know we women and we out there doing it, we're gonna go out here and we're gonna show the world, and then we're gonna make it mean something. And I think that's what they wanted to do. Like, try to bring some type of prestige show that had never been in, because Sasha and Bayley tried to do that when they first brought them in. And then this idea, because y'all have a six-pack challenge to try to get over Bianca and Ronda. Let me ask you a question. Why are you trying to get over Bianca and Ronda? I'll tell you why. Because you fucked them over. That whole... It's like, I guess they feel as though the Bianca Belair thing, it needs a little bit more, juice to it, but you kind of took it all away from her when y'all made her lose to Becky Lynch in 26 seconds at SummerSlam. Y'all never recovered from that. Ronda Rousey came back in the Royal Rumble and just told y'all, I don't want to be here.
Wait a minute. I got something for you though.
Okay.
Just a part of just to further your point on professionalism on WWE's part.
Yeah.
Who was Bianca supposed to face at SummerSlam?
Sasha.
And who did they not know was performing at SummerSlam for like a whole month?
Sasha, because
had a whole promo right before she was quote unquote supposed to come out, and she didn't.
Because I'm glad you brought that up, Prime. Because it's funny how they sat there and said They let the WWE Universe down from not, completing a promise. They promoted Bianca versus Sasha Part 2 from WrestleMania, which was one of the best matches at that WrestleMania. So you get the rematch. So who everybody wanted to see it again. That match helped sell tickets. But y'all knew weeks in advance that she wasn't going to be able to perform. And y'all sold that shit. Huh?
Mm-hmm.
Not days, but weeks.
They knew weeks before she wasn't going to perform, and y'all waited to the last fucking minute, even on the damn show. Now, okay, you could probably say, well, they brought out Becky, but no, that ain't the point. Because just because you see the initial reaction, and then you get, and then on top of that, you get a squash on top of that, everybody was expecting Bianca versus Sasha Part 2. I was expecting that. Because that SummerSlam card wasn't really much to talk about. And that, and that's funny. So then, so new details has come out. There was a associate that was close to Naomi, and they put out a statement. This was on Tuesday, saying that neither one of you will win the solo titles. You won't defend your tag team titles until Money in the Bank. So that's after Hell in a Cell. You ask for a meeting with your boss, but this time you are being called spoiled. A producer walks away screaming. He comes back and tells both of you to fix your attitudes. Because black women are always angry, right? Okay.
Yep.
So you got to fix your attitude. So
wasn't that attitude when the two white women were throwing title belts at each other? But let's keep it going.
Yeah. No, that says you right.
Let's keep it going. Go ahead, continue.
Yeah. When Homegirl straight walked out of WWE to AEW with the same shit on.
Wasn't attitude then.
Y'all have a brief meeting amongst yourselves and decide to stand up for yourself. And you go to another boss and make it clear you just have concerns. Because it's funny, I'm starting to keep stopping in there because Vince always talk about people standing up for themselves, right? He be challenging, like he wanted to shoot Wrestle Kurt Angle. Are you serious? Just to see what he would do. This the man that also took the LOD move in the bar. You know what I'm talking about, Prime.
Yeah. The Doomsday device.
Doomsday device. You ask why are we even in the match and why aren't other women in it? You ask why your titles have no stories for 2 months. You're the champion. You promote us as the first. That's your main thing y'all want to say as soon as they came out the next night on Raw or SmackDown. On SmackDown because Pat McAfee was there. And then you say. For 2 months, again, you're met with fix your attitudes. After one final meeting with yourselves and asking others, you make the ultimate decision as a team. It's sad how one side is trying to create a fucked up narrative. Also, it was asked why were Nikki Ash and Doudrop in the match instead of starting their program tonight. Naomi nor Sasha talked down about being in the ring with either one. I don't know how that got flipped because honestly, I feel the same way because they worked with all the women in the ring already. They just had a match with Doudrop and Nikki Ash the week before, thinking they were supposed to set up another storyline, and they didn't. You mean to tell Sasha has worked with? She helped put Ronda over in one of Ronda's best matches since she's been back, and had a match right here in Philly with Asuka multiple times, and she don't want to work with them people. She or Becky, who's one of her fellow 4 horsewomen, or she don't want to work with Nikki Ash or Doudrop, which they have done this before in NXT. Like, what are you talking about? Because your narrative is to make them look bad. They tried to do the same thing to Stone Cold, but the problem is he's Stone Cold. And at that time in 2002, more of us was watching the wrestling. So we were sitting there thinking like, what the fuck?
That Stone Cold thing was way different too, by the way.
It was different.
Because somebody had posted a thing of like The Rock. So basically in the Stone Cold thing, The Rock came out and started talking trash though, right?
Yeah.
Like, Stone Cold took his ball and went home. But obviously people thought it was just another promo. So they was like kind of burying him. And then in the real life situation, I'm like, yeah, y'all want me to fight Brock on Raw.
No build or nothing.
Yeah, so I get Stone Cold's point. And people's like, oh, he just walked home. I'm like, I mean, if I'm a fan, I want to see Stone Cold and Brock on the pay-per-view, not just some random Raw that just for whatever.
And he just said he didn't care about putting the guy over. And I do believe that Sasha and Naomi don't mind putting something over if there's something to do it. Remember what Triple H said on the conference call that if an NXT star gets called up, he wants to have a plan for 6 months. And mostly none of his stars that get called up never had that plan at all.
Never.
So then the next day they all say they talk about something. There's no support backstage for Sasha and Naomi. That was Wednesday. There's no support at all. Everybody's sitting and talking about something unprofessional, blah, blah, blah. So that's bullshit, okay? And once again, there may not be a universal support, but I'm just saying, but right now, I'm not looking at it as we don't support you. I'm looking at it as we're trying to keep our job.
I say, if Vince come up and ask you, you're not going to just say, oh, yeah, sure, I think they were right. Like, bro, what? You
want to keep your job, and right now, when you have people that's been getting literally fired, and it's amazing how y'all fired so many. You know how many teams, the actual teams they had, from Iconics to Fire and Desire, to Kabuki Wars, and all them other teams they actually had during the tag team division when it first came out, and they got rid of all of them? People want the job. I want my job, and that's just being honest. So then Cameron comes out.
Oh, girl.
I'm trying not to use other words. She comes out and she puts and makes it. Her comments make Naomi look worse. She's saying that Naomi would never do. She's being manipulated by Sasha.
Girl, what?
Dead serious.
No, I know what you're talking about. It's just like, girl, what? Like, what are you talking about?
She came out and she's being manipulated by Sasha. She would had never done this, and Sasha tried to manipulate her. And if I was there, the original Funkadactyl, this would never happen. Excuse me.
All the way by.
Y'all thought that was going to work? Seriously? So basically you're saying that Naomi's just a troll.
She don't have a mind of her own.
She don't have a mind of her own. Sasha's bullying her into doing this. And I'm just like, Naomi, you check on the quiet ones, because she has not said shit. She has been misused
Sasha
and mistreated.
Didn't say nothing yet.
Say what?
And, I said Sasha didn't say nothing yet on social media, but she's been everywhere. Like she was at like Prince's house with like Snoop Dogg yesterday or something like that. I was like, bro,
Naomi
just random.
Removed any references to WWE from her social media.
Yeah, and then
I think that's the part where people are like, "Oh, this is a work." I think that's why people are really running with that.
People are so stupid talking about it. Everything is not a work.
But could they just be, I don't know, mad? Like,
I don't know. I hate wrestling fans sometimes. Everything is not a work. Like
it really is.
Something happen. Oh, it's a work. I'm like, really? Because they announced it. It's a work. Okay.
It's not. At first, I'm like, how is it? You are really, but y'all smearing their names here, because it's easier to get the target audience now is like my son, my son's age. And you don't think they see on the social media how many little girls from black and white and all across the world that they're looking up to these women and fans that they actually have? Like, you should see the stuff they have on social media. And all these little young impressionable minds got to hear is they did the wrong thing. They don't understand.
They're indoctrinating these kids, trying to make them feel like, oh, well, the way that we feel is the right way.
Yeah.
And it's like, they don't care about anything else except they're not on TV now, or they're not on social media interacting with us now.
Exactly. And if they want to switch all this stuff, like, hold on, Naomi got a mind of her own, and out of all the stuff that she should obviously, but she should have did this shit years ago. Honestly. But neither here nor there. So the stuff don't stop, because now the next day, we on Thursday now, they talk about their contracts are getting expired.
Yeah, I'm like, y'all just making up stuff at this point.
Well, I really think because contracts are expiring, it's like, in about a couple months, because Sasha did not sign a 5-year deal. She just got more money. So there was a clip going around, people was talking about when she was on the Broken Skull with Stone Cold. And I think Stone Cold was agreeing with her, because she was just like, look, when I first got here, I was all like, yeah, I'm here, I'm happy to be here, I'd love to have my hot dog and stuff like that too. But I know who I am, I know my worth. I'm like Vince. I want steak. I deserve steak. And all the stuff that Sasha has done, and all the stuff that Sasha has been trying to do in this, there is no, my quotations, women's revolution without this, without Sasha, Bailey, Paige, you know what I'm saying, and all, especially the Sasha and Bailey match from Takeover Brooklyn. There isn't. And this woman is into wrestling. I mean, she takes the notes. She has books about wrestling. If y'all seen that Evil documentary, like she's about this business. Everybody y'all want to be passionate about this business. She's not like Cameron or Eva fucking Marie here to try to get another fucking check. No, she's here because for the love of the fucking game. And that's what it is. And then Naomi, oh yeah, Cameron, Miss Funkadactyl. How come Naomi stayed and been somewhat successful opposed to you? Don't know, but Cameron sucks, okay? And I've said that, fine, pretty face to look at, whatever. But she sucks. She ain't there for the love of the game. And then then they would say, like, well, Naomi's husband come out there to support her. He just order. Because she's been supporting his drunk ass for, however long it has been. So, I mean, why are you bringing that up? That's like, dead knowledge. So then we get to Friday. So Friday is SmackDown. It's like, so are they gonna finally address this joint? So what happens? Michael Cole gets up on look, before everybody wants to go hang Michael Cole, right? And I know Michael Cole is a lot of shit. He was saying a lot of fucked up things and wrong things. But I'm saying, but he was fed this line, and just like Corey Graves was fed that line. I don't think Corey Graves wanted to say it, but he said it because he wants his job. So Michael Cole comes out there and talks about that Sasha Banks and Bayley have been indefinitely suspended, and the tag team titles are going to be defended in a future tournament.
What tournament?
What teams? They only got a roster
of that we just made up.
But they got a roster of the smallest of tournaments is
Have
8.
You seen,
huh?
You haven't seen it? The memes on this tournament was like, it's just gonna be 2 teams and the winner gets the belts. That's the
it was
tournament.
It was like the bracket, and it was like one little line, and then I said, yeah. I mean, because who else?
I'm about to say, because you're going to start randomly throwing people together, and y'all still don't have people to challenge y'all champions.
Nope.
Y'all don't. And what teams when they was actually trying to make a team out this thing?
They boxed themselves into a corner. And
then they want to talk about how unprofessional they were. Like they ran him under the bus. It's funny because Pat McAfee was on the side looking at him like, yo, what the fuck you talking about right now?
Mm-hmm.
Like, people are talking about it. I'm right here on Sports Station talking about some Pat McAfee's reaction to Sasha Banks and Naomi suspended draws attention. Because when Michael said, he was sitting there like, yo, dude, thank God I ain't got to say this shit. And he just kept winking like, really though? Really? And you go on WWE Shop, they took all that stuff down. I went and bought all my shit on Monday from Naomi and Sasha because I knew they were going to do this shit.
You about to say, it was the same thing with the Snoop Dogg.
With the Snoop Dogg, because look, I'm telling you right now, I bought my Boss Glow shirt. That one came today. I went for my WrestleMania play. Cause I was like, I know that shirt because they going to draw. And that was the whole week leading up of these fucking details of that's been happening. And I keep hearing the same shit from, and it ain't everybody, but the rest of us, because unprofessional this, unprofessional that. What the fuck are y'all talking about? What the Lily? What the fuck are you talking about?
I find it funny and hard to believe that you think people would really believe that there's no support for them in the bed after all the people that have requested their release and been told no and been told you just gonna ride this contract out. We don't care if you sit back here in catering, you're gonna ride this contract out. You want me to believe that those people are sitting in the back like, oh, I can't believe that they would do such a thing. Really? People who obviously didn't care about their jobs in the first place. Now, I'm not saying that, like, they don't want to wrestle, but they just don't want to be there.
Yeah.
Really?
Ali. Mustafa Ali.
Exactly.
I'm just saying, you're not gonna sit there and tell me that people like Mustafa Ali or the New Day or people I could just take off the top of my head right now because Shayna Baszler cryptic posts and so did Bailey showing their support. Dax and Bryan Danielson from AEW, it was all like
they were on it.
And CM Punk don't give a shit about nothing. So it's just like hey,
I was about to say because what's Quattro's guy? Tell him suck a dick, honestly.
Woo woo woo.
Woo
He'll
woo
never
whatever.
be anything but that to me. I don't care how
this
many
stupid ass nigga talking about when I was the TV, when I was the internet champ. Shut up, dog. What?
I didn't understand why. I mean, so like I didn't understand why people get mad at him. I thought he said, okay. I guess the way people were saying it, I thought he said something controversial. He literally made a stupid joke.
No, it wasn't controversial. It was stupid.
I know, but I'm saying people was like reading on Twitter. People was acting like it was something controversial. So I'm like, oh, what did he do? And then when I seen that, I'm like, oh,
he's being a dumbass.
Okay. Yeah, like okay. I was like, man, y'all need to, like, calm down a little bit.
Yeah, it's funny. All your top stars are people that have walked out or have done worse or don't work or like you said threw the belts at each other or when they frustrated or when they go shoot in the match or when they want to do the shit they did with Hulk Hogan with Shawn Michaels at SummerSlam 05 and do all that shit like that. All that shit falls under the umbrella of my fingers are up, unprofessional.
All kinds of stuff.
Okay, but you also got to see the shit that WWE is putting these people through because in reality, from the law, they shouldn't be even allowed to be doing this in the first place. They're not employees. They're independent contractors.
That was another good thing. I said, oh, okay, so y'all want them to act like, y'all would say, oh, well, y'all independent contractors, stop trying to act like y'all are employees. I'm an independent contractor. So I should be able to get up and do whatever I want to.
Yeah.
Technically, this is not my employer. I'm an independent contractor. If I decide I want to terminate my contract and we got to work out a deal to get out of the contract, I should be able to do that, right? Right? No, that's not how this works. Y'all can't have your cake and eat it too. You can't bitch and complain and be like, oh, well, y'all not employees. You don't get employee type benefits. And then when they want to act like independent contractors, then be mad about that too. Like, it's just, y'all doing the absolute most. People have done worse. People have gotten away with worse, even if it wasn't a walkout. But these two walking out and deciding they just don't want to be bothered with the shitty booking and all the nonsense anymore is just the worst thing that has happened. Like I don't understand how that makes any sense. I mean, come on.
No, they gonna try to smear their name because they mad.
Yeah.
And they mad that they got caught. They got mad because first of all, honestly, if they want to, they could have probably walked out when they said we want to try to win the Women's Tag Team Champions because they both had big programs at Mania that y'all never finished. They stopped the Naomi and Sonya thing dead in the. There was no blow. She just came out and was like, me and Sasha going for the Tag Team Champions, and they put a smile on their face. She was supposed to main event with Charlotte, and then they were supposed to have her own program with her own story. Because we still don't know why Sonya hated Naomi. Never knew. That whole shit was a waste. And you're telling, and then they said, "Oh, fine, we went out there at WrestleMania, we won the Jones," and now y'all want to make it seem like the Jones don't mean nothing. Like if you're going to give me a belt, if you're going to give me a championship, I'm going to try my best to do what I can to make it great. And that's what y'all want me to do. It ain't. I'm just saying. That's what y'all gotta understand. That's what WWE wanted them to do.
Yeah.
Y'all always want to be the first to be like, we the first ones changing history. But I'm like, all right, so let's do that then.
Do the work then.
Let's do it. It ain't just about we made that moment at WrestleMania. Let's move on, because there's no way. And if with Naomi going against Bianca and Sasha going up against Ronda, what does that do? Nothing.
Not for them.
After Sasha already had a match with Ronda to put her over, and then Naomi's just going to lose to Bianca for filler. These are your women's tag team champions doing filler stuff because y'all don't have or build up enough women on the card to face any of your champions, or they don't want to get away their stadium shows such as Becky and Bianca again, or part 3, or whatever much they want to call it, or Ronda and nobody, because after Charlotte is gone,
I said yet they're doing Bianca and Asuka, which I think could be a good program at Hell in a Cell. It's just like
it's just thrown in there.
Mm-hmm.
It's just fucking thrown in there. So yes, I'm walking. I'm stepping, and to be honest with you, and I see the people out there talking about, well, Sasha for AEW or Dan for AEW. Honestly, they don't need to go there. And Tony Khan got so much shit going on in his roster.
We probably should. I don't know if you have that on the outline. We probably should have talked about that too. How everything seems to be in disarray over there right now.
Yeah, I mean, he's so instant to try to hoard talent also. But the thing about Dynamite that me and Pryor talked about, there's no time over there. They're still new. There's only 2 hours of Dynamite. We don't need 3 hours. But Rampage,
I was saying that. I've been saying that they need to stop hiring people because you're gonna run out of space and run out of bread. Like
exact to the point where Rampage is only an hour show that's taped. It's not live. So if you had 2 hours of Rampage live, but your time slot does not set up for a 2 hour, nobody's watching a live 10 to 12 midnight show. And you don't want to go right up against Smackdown because you ain't there yet. Because that's what Friday night, and Smackdown's the only one that's pulling in 2 million because it's on Fox. That's why. Yeah. So you don't want to go up against that yet, and your average number is only 500,000 for Rampage. So you had no time, and nobody's watching Dark and Elevation. Just like nobody's watching NXT Level Up or
where is Dark at?
YouTube. You got to watch it on YouTube. Dark and Elevation is on YouTube. Those are YouTube shows. And yes, you get all the other stars that perform there and get their record so high, but once again, it's YouTube. Nobody's watching it.
Yeah.
And then, so honestly, Sasha don't need that. And to be real with you, Naomi can't come back because first of all, Naomi married to Jimmy, and I understand. Look, y'all held Jimmy for doing a lot of dumb shit, and it's like because
that man's holding 2 belts right now.
Exactly. But it ain't all about Jimmy, because if Jimmy's upset, you upset Roman. You don't want to upset Roman. It's all about that line right there. That is family right there.
Y'all Hollywood WrestleMania card is in the balance right now.
Yeah,
keep it
Roman
1,000.
Like he want to take a break and
Roman rated. We not getting Rock Roman if y'all fuck this up, and y'all fucking
Rock
it up.
ain't there. Rock don't want to.
He don't want to be bothered with this right now.
A myth right now because
I know, but I'm just saying.
Yeah,
rumor mill.
Yeah, like if W wants Rock, sure, but yeah, but
they probably wanted him when they had that stupid egg from the movie.
Exactly.
And he was just like, right. I don't have time for this right now.
I don't.
Y'all can go ahead.
My thing too is, man, like.
Go ahead, keep talking.
These these WWE fans, man, like you bootlicking ass niggas, like yo, bruh, like so many people complaining. Why would you do that? At the biggest point of your career, blah blah blah. These are the same niggas who's been praising WWE guys for going over to AEW. The same people talking about, oh man, y'all ruining the best parts of y'all career. Da 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 da.
How is this the best part of their career?
That's what I'm saying. A tag title run that they don't even care about. That's the best part of their career. I'm arguing with one stupid ass nigga talking about. Go ask Sasha and Naomi how dude dropping and Nikki Ashfield for not being able to get put in the match. I'm like, are you gonna ask the writers why they couldn't just turn it into a fatal 4-way? No, because then if they would have lost, y'all would have been complaining about this, that, and the third, blah blah blah. I'm like, you're complaining now, stupid. Like, if you want them in the match that bad, turn it to a fatal 4. You so fucking dumb.
How about y'all ask Doudrop and Nikki Ash how come their tag team program is scrapped that they started the week before? That was supposed to be a program. They were supposed to team up because they had no teams and go up against Sasha and Naomi. So how about you ask them how come their program is scrapped? Not how come you're in a 6-pack challenge because y'all trying to create a main event. First of all, who's turning on Raw for that 6-pack challenge? No disrespect
Nobody.
to any of the women in that matchup, but that match came an hour before Raw came on. That's not Brock and Stone Cold. That's not Roman and Drew McIntyre. That's nothing. That is like if you just off the whim see a 6-pack challenge and the winner gets a shot at Bianca Belair. And the first question everybody's going to ask is, why are Sasha and Naomi in the match? They're tag team champions. We know Nikki Ash is trash. We know Doudrop is not winning because she just had a match with the championship at the Rumble. And we are tired of seeing Bianca pick up Doudrop. We saw it already. You're strong.
Get it.
And then, so what that leaves Becky and Asuka, which means they're not going to give away the Becky rematch yet. So you can look at that and already see, well, I see the winner. So it don't matter. And how much do you think that they was going to, Nikki Ash and Doudrop was going to get treated in that match? But they're going to look like superstars.
That's what I'm saying. Like they was getting smoked either way. Like,
Yep.
Exactly. And everybody sitting there wondering, and then when you watch the match, one thing Prime talks about, which I agree with, is match psychology. You're in a 6-pack challenge. You're sitting there saying like, okay, well, it's funny because these tag team women gotta avoid each other because they're tag team champions. But if it's a 6-pack challenge, they're gonna have to come cross anyway because who wants to match? You're putting them in a scenario which brings divide in a team that is just getting started. Hurt Business.
I knew it was coming. I was like, he is finna bring up the Hurt Business somewhere.
Cedric was only in the group 4 weeks before Shelton pushed him. Why? That makes no fucking sense. That makes no fucking sense whatsoever. And they doing this, and they did the same thing with these women. And I'm just like, yo, people, state the obvious. State the obvious because there is a subconscious in everybody that nobody wants to talk about. Okay, because me and my wife and my neighbor we kind of talked about this the other day. That subconsciously there's things in you that people just don't want to talk about. Y'all acting like this because he's a black woman.
Yeah.
Face it.
Yeah.
It's over. It's done. That is the fact because the energy and the proof is in the pudding. The energy was not there for any of the white ones that left. Y'all cheered, and this ain't Tony Storm's fault.
No.
But y'all cheered Tony Storm for walking out because if she was just on a podcast.
Like, well, she had cake in her hair though. She wasn't a champion. So these are women who are.
Oh, by the way, did y'all hear what that was supposed to be?
Yes, because she was just on a
She was
podcast.
to get her shirt ripped off or something like that, right?
Yeah. She was just on the podcast, and she was. Do you know which one it was, Prime?
No, I don't.
Okay, and she was.
Probably AEW.
Oh yeah,
probably AEW.
Yeah, the AEW podcast, AEW Unrestricted, something like that. She was on the podcast, and she was talking about what the original plan was for that segment, and they wanted Charlotte to beat her up and rip her clothes off, and she was just like, I don't see why that's necessary. And she said I didn't think it was anything sexual, but I was like, but I don't see why it's necessary. So they came up with the pie in the face thing, which she still didn't think was a good idea, but she just said, all right,
it's better than
fuck it. And then after doing that and making her like a complete joke and embarrassing her on national television, she said, fuck this. And walked off, took the plane and went home. And called them and told I ain't coming. Where you at, Tony? Oh, the phone's ringing. Oh, yeah, it's me. I'm not coming. And walked to AEW. That's what happened.
And they wanted them to do a pipe bomb or something? Like,
exactly. And that's what it's been. And Sasha and Naomi, especially Naomi, has been sitting here smiling for the past 10-something years. And yet, they get smeared, they walk off and do all sort of that, and everybody wants to find an answer because subconsciously that's what people are just inclined to do.
They're definitely they took their shit off of the out the stores and everything.
Yeah, this is their way of punishing. My fingers are up, punishing them. Type shit,
quote unquote,
quote unquote, and basically having basically the universe or my fingers up again, turn on shit like that. But it's like this because they're black women who are good at what they do. This ain't Cameron or Alicia Fox. No disrespect, but this is not Cameron or Alicia Fox. This is Naomi and Sasha Banks. Sasha Banks being one of the biggest names that y'all have in that company, and subconsciously. Anybody want to talk about them not professional because this is what you're subconsciously thinking about all the time. Own your shit, especially to the black people out there. Who just because it's all about I just want to keep the peace, bruh. Mr. Keep the Peace, you're making it worse.
Yeah.
Okay? Because you're not keeping the peace by trying to tell something that you fully probably don't even understand.
It's definitely well keep your you don't upset Mr. Boss. That's what it's giving. Okay?
That's what it is.
That's what it's giving. And I'm gonna say this because I know people are like, oh, he's pulling the race card. It's not even about that. This is honest to God about the fact that who is the easiest person to shit on?
The black woman.
The black woman.
And they know that. They know that. They don't even have to make it overt. They don't have to be like, oh, well, these cotton picking chicken, watermelon eating. They don't have to do all of that. Like we were just watching on that Young Rock episode. You don't have to do that. They know that it is ingrained in people to feel like it is okay to disrespect black women. And that's just the...
Yeah. It's a subconscious thing. And people think that they don't do it. I'm like, yo, if y'all sit there in the mirror and look at yourselves, be honest with yourselves. We all, not just everybody on this earth that's a human being has a subconscious about something, about somebody that's different from them.
You have an internalized bias.
It's
somewhere.
An internalized bias.
You have a lot of things where what we were saying with our talking about with our neighbor was how internally you automatically default to man a lot when you are just in conversation. And somebody says, yeah, I was talking to a lawyer, a doctor. What did he say? Think about it. Like, just honestly, next time you're in a conversation and someone does not point out the gender of the person they're talking about and you have to answer, think about it. Did you say, what did he say? What did he do? Why did he? And you're like, but I'm not talking about a man. I didn't specify the gender. And it's the same thing here. It's easy to shit on a woman. It's especially easy because people don't respect women's wrestling anyway. It's always, it's the basketball break. Okay, and I've sat through some pretty mediocre matches that were nothing but men. But the woman is always, no matter who it is, how big it is, how great of an ability they have, it's the bathroom break. For a lot of people, not everybody, but for a lot of people. And it's easy to disrespect women's wrestling, and it's especially easy to, it was like the scapegoat. I find it hard to believe that if this was Sasha and Lacey Evans, we'd be getting the same treatment.
Not for Lacey Evans.
Charlotte.
But I'm saying, I find it hard to believe that if it was anybody, like just throwing random people together. If this had been Rhea and why did I forget this child's name?
Liv Morgan.
Yeah.
I find it hard to believe that we would be getting the same narrative. I find it hard to believe. They would probably they might throw some snide remarks at them. But I don't know if it would be
I think they would probably handle it backstage.
That's why I said they might throw some little side comments, but it's not going to be, they took their ball and went home, they were unprofessional, and look how much they disappointed you boys and girls. It would not be all of that.
Talking about they disappointed us. Nigga, who is us? I ain't disappointed. Y'all disappointed?
No, I ain't disappointed.
Michael Cole did say that, and Pat McAfee was like, what?
As I'm saying, everybody's looking at his reaction like disappointed. Who disappointed? Because there's on that main event. What disappointed that y'all just promoted an hour before the show? What's disappointing is y'all ain't got a main event.
And I when this whole thing happened in the first place, and then it went straight from the 6-pack challenge to just
Oscar
them
and Becky.
two.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, you didn't even have to reconfigure it that way. You still could have made it a fatal 4-way, and Asuka still could have won.
Exactly.
And she would have just
Nikki Ash and Doudrop were going to get their ass beat either way. Like,
she'd have picked Doudrop or Nikki Ash, and that would have been it. And it's like, where that's not nobody's fault. I don't see, that's not neither one of their fault. I hate when people do that. It's like, don't deflect because you don't want to get angry at who you really need to be angry at.
Yeah.
Don't get mad at the person who's standing on the sideline and was wronged and throw your hate over there because you don't want to throw it back at the real target.
Yeah,
listen.
And then, go ahead.
Here in Philly, that's some pussy shit. That's some that you. If you did that here, folks would run you down. Be like, oh, so you mad at old dude up the block, but you don't have the heart to go say that to him. So you gonna go pick on the person down here who was already beat up by old dude. So you gonna go and fuck with them too, because it's the right thing to do. You can take out your anger on them.
This is the last point I want to make, because people are they're really digging in the toy box to try to find something, because they're talking about some, say, well, Sasha's been like this, and she thinks she can get everything she wants because Snoop Dogg's her cousin and stuff like that. I'm like,
what does that have to do with?
I'm like, stop. I'm like, are you fucking kidding me right now? I'm like, stop. What does Snoop got to do with anything? Snoop's a rapper. Who this happens to, like, some wrestlers who come in there and do a favor, and once again, if Snoop don't kiss nobody's ass, we have seen that's why it took Undertaker Snoop Dogg shit down. He don't kiss nobody's ass, and it ain't like he going to back talking about some, yo, push my cousin. Gives two shits. Sasha going to sit there doing it on. This ain't Ric Flair, who's back there actually telling Vince McMahon how to book Charlotte.
Yes. And then got fired.
And they got fired for that shit.
And that's why, like, these arguments don't hold water. Y'all talking about, because Ric Flair is no longer employed by the...
I mean, and like I said, it's a lot of people who agree. And we should have saw this come when Athena came out on that podcast and told her what was happening with her on the main roster in NXT.
Oh, and folks lit her up. Oh, well, you wasn't that good anyway. She was injury prone. Every time they tried to put... No, this is the... Like, I saw real...
And it's funny because I was like, how'd she get injured? How'd she get injured? Oh, you want to know how she got injured? Because she was running for the fucking 24/7 championship. And she had to make a hard stop going to the stage because she almost crashed into somebody, because that's what y'all had Ember Moon doing.
But even without all of that, like, even without the 24/7 shit, they was really trying to make it sound like she was some scrub that wasn't even that good, and she wasn't cute. Like, it was really people out here just tearing her limb from limb for no reason. For no reason.
Because it's easy to do.
Because she talked, because she told her truth. This is the thing I think folks forget. This is somebody else's experience. Just because it's not your experience does not mean it did not happen to them. And also, this is none of y'all experience, because a lot of y'all who are talking aren't wrestlers, professional or otherwise. Mm-hmm. We all commentators, just looking from afar and don't have any real experience with this. So it's like, okay, cool. Everybody's allowed to have an opinion, but having an opinion and just straight tearing somebody down for no apparent reason is two totally different things. Especially trying to act like you got the expert advice or some shit that you have no real idea what it's about. I'm going to stand here all day, every day, and defend two black women who are like, I feel like I was not given the opportunities that I should have been given. Sure, I don't know shit about the inner workings of the wrestling business, but if somebody has been done wrong, I'm not fucking with that.